Hey everyone, I want to react to something today that I think is one of the most important conversations happening right now in the Western world, and almost nobody in my corner of the media is engaging with it with the seriousness that it deserves. I'm going to play you a clip from Glenn Beck's show recorded in London the night before this past Saturday's massive Unite the Kingdom rally in London, which was organized by Tommy Robinson. The rally drew somewhere between 60,000 and 200,000 people, depending on who you ask. I know a lot of people who were there. They had the rally in Parliament Square. It was peaceful. The crowd chanted, "Make England Great Again," and "Christ is King," and they wore "Make England Great Again" hats. And the British government had deployed 4,000 police officers, face scanning technology, and banned 11 foreign commentators and journalists from even entering the country to attend this rally. Now, I know for many of you, the name Tommy Robinson might set off alarm bells. You've been told that he's some sort of thug. You've told what to think about him. I heard him speak in Tel Aviv a number of months back, and it was inspiring. I'm not here to tell you what to think of Tommy, whether you think of him as a hero or a villain. I'm here to show you what's actually being said and how to explain what's happening in Britain right now, and how what's happening in Britain right now matters. Right? It matters not just to British people, but to every single person watching this who cares about the future of Western civilization and the jihadist Islamist takeover of the West that I talk about all the time. So let's get into it. Here is clip 1. So let's pull this up on the screen. Hold on a sec. Let me get this right. Here we go. Clip 1 coming up. Here we are.
Tommy Robinson, welcome to the program. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
How's it good? Last time I saw you were in the United States. How was it to be home?
Last time I saw you, I was in the land of the free. Now I'm in the land with no freedom.
Yeah. It seems hard to believe, and I think I have a new understanding, and I've asked several people this, and I think this is what's happening. You know, I was on with Piers Morgan, and he was saying, you know, you can't stand with Tommy Robinson. I'm like, oh, I don't know all of the details, you know, but I will tell you, I talked to him, and he seems pretty normal, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, Glenn, none of that is happening. And I'm like, no, Piers, I'm
not in your bubble, Piers.
Pretty sure it
not
is.
Where you live.
Exactly. So I've been staying downtown London, and that seems like it was 5 years ago. You know what I mean? Pretty much. Seems pretty much the same. It's all fine. And you can go around government, you can go to the art museums and everything else, and you're all fine. But the minute you get out of the city,
I'll show you now.
Once you get out of the city, it's a different world entirely.
I'll show you now. This was 5 minutes ago.
What is this?
Listen to him. Listen to what he says.
I'm going to behead Jews one by one?
This was half hour ago in a corner of London, not where Piers Morgan lives.
Right.
Now, Piers Morgan's son, because I bumped into him.
Okay, let's pause it right there. Let's pause it right there for a sec. Did you hear that? I'm going to behead Jews in London. Recorded half an hour before this conversation. And notice something, that this is normal. This is now background noise. This stuff happens in the UK every day. This is what normalized Jew hatred looks like when it moves off the university campus and into the street. And I want you to hold that image in your mind as we continue, because the people running that country, the Keir Starmers of the world, their response to this is to ban journalists. Journalists like Ezra Levant was banned from entering the country. Ezra Levant is a Jewish journalist and attorney from Canada. And he banned him from entering England to cover this event. The man chanting about beheading Jews walks free in the UK. That's who Keir Starmer and the British government want to protect. The Jewish journalist covering it and exposing the anti-Semitism, he gets banned. If you don't know who Ezra Levant is, he's from Rebel News. You got to follow him. He's amazing. That tells you everything you need to know about who the British government is and who they're actually protecting, and who they're not protecting is more important. So let's go to clip number 2 now.
About this has been encouraged since October 7th on the streets of the UK. There has been a failure by the police, the authorities, the government, of any of them to deal with jihadists rape gangs, terrorism. They all are terrified. And then now, Keir Starmer's given big statements this morning about a unity rally tomorrow, a beautiful unity rally to celebrate British identity, calling us. He made a statement this morning that he's banned 11 far-right agitators. He banned Ezra Levant, who's a Jewish lawyer and journalist, Avi Yemeni, who's a journalist. None of them have got criminal convictions for racist or any hatred like that. He banned Philip De Winter, who's been a politician for 40 years, a lead member of the European Parliament. He's banned Dominik Szawecki, who's a lead politician in Poland. He's banned Eva Vlandbroek, who's a solicitor, lawyer. We're not talking about him banning all hooligans and extremists here. We're talking about mainstream political opinions that he doesn't agree with. And now, just like he's labelled me, just like you've been given these words about me by the media and Piers Morgan, and they're just branding these 11 people as far-right, racist, extremist agitators who are intent on violence. That's his intent on violence. They just make it up. They just make it up. And now what he's done is he's exposing himself to the world. The world is watching London tomorrow. They've exposed themselves totally again, Keir Starmer. I'm looking at it just thinking, really, you're digging holes like this? Because we'll prove it tomorrow. The problem they have now, they don't have the monopoly anymore. Now, 5 years ago, when I was censored from everywhere, before Elon Musk bought X, they could make all these statements. They can send their police officers tomorrow. They could throw a few batons, get a couple of shots of people looking aggressive, and that little capture is what will be propagated to the world. Well, tomorrow, our last event, 66 million people watched it live on our platform, on X, on our social media. We have got over 200 citizen journalists beaming tomorrow live. TikTokers, Nick Shirley's here speaking from the United States. Yeah. We've got many different journalists coming from all corners of the globe to cover this. And they will show the world what's happening on Britain streets tomorrow. I'm glad you're here, Glenn. I'm very grateful that you've took this journey. I've heard it might be your last one to Britain ever.
Well, that's what I was told today. I mean, that's insane. I was told if I speak tomorrow, it will be my last. This will be the last time I'm allowed into England.
Yeah, don't worry, because Keir Starmer will be gone soon. We're about to have a political revolution. Right. We'll have a new government.
But that's insane.
For what? What are you going to talk about? Free speech?
Right. All of the things this country was built on. All of the things that you were supposedly defending in World War II.
It's just, for me, it's great that the world can see what we're living under. The world can see the way he's treating you, the way he's treating politicians. How do you think he treats us? How do you think they treat us?
Oh, I can tell you now, just being here and really looking and trying to figure out how is this happening. They have decimated all of the, we would call them red states in America, all the small towns all over England, all the farming communities, all the factory communities, all the hardworking community. They've just decimated them. You have no manufacturing base anymore.
No, my hometown, Luton, was the home of Vauxhalls. Right. It employed 30,000 people. It's gone. My dad worked there. It's gone. There's nothing left.
So they've decimated it, and then they started importing people into those areas, away from them.
Into those areas who are hostile, aggressive, and hostile to us, hostile to our culture, hostile to our women, hostile to our daughters. They're hostile. And the facts speak for themselves. It's not, you can't just call it racism or extremism. In 2003, we had 8,000 rapes. Now we had 88,000 rapes. Are we supposed to just carry on while you open our borders and our women are raped continuously from one end of this country to the other? And we've had enough. We've had enough and we're paying for all this. And we're putting them in hotels. So it can be stopped. It could be stopped like that. There's no will to stop it. There's no want to stop it, because the people they're bringing in, and I bring it back to the United States of America. Picture Minnesota, where do you think Somalians come from the hottest place on the planet
to go to the coldest place?
Do you think they chose there?
No, the State Department did.
The State Department put them.
Okay, what did we just see there? I want to add something before we continue. Tommy just rattled off a list of people that Starmer banned from entering Britain ahead of this rally, right? A couple of Jewish journalists, Ezra Levant and Avi Yemeni, a Polish politician, a British solicitor. These are not street thugs. These are people with mainstream political opinions that the British government disagrees with. Maybe you think they're right-wing opinions, but that's the only reason they're being banned. And I want to be precise about something, because language matters here. What Tommy describes about the rape gangs, you heard what he said there about the numbers. I'm not going to dwell on it, but I'm not going to skip past it either. It wasn't negligence. Negligence is when you miss something. This was a choice by the UK government, by UK law enforcement. Repeated, deliberate, documented choices by people who knew exactly what was happening and decided that protecting their political coalition was more important than protecting children. That's the government that is now deploying 4,000 police officers to stop British citizens from marching peacefully in their own capital. Keep that in mind. And you see what he said there about Minnesota. But you have the Somali immigrants all get brought to Minnesota, the coldest place in the United States. What a crazy place for them to move. But they were moved there for a reason. Anyway, let's go to clip number 3 now.
Could we play what we played just about a half hour ago? I want you to listen to this, and then I'm going to break and have Tommy respond to this.
Tomorrow's march in London is a reminder of what we're up against in the battle of our values. The organisers, including convicted thugs and racists, are peddling hatred and division, plain and simple. Their goal is to convince people that Britain's problems are caused by those living alongside them. But that is not the Britain that I know. This is a country built on decency, fairness and respect. A country that is at its best when people from different backgrounds come together in common purpose. This is our country, with a majority who share those values, a majority who may not always be as loud, but must always define who we are. So my government will not stand in the way of peaceful protest. But we will act decisively against hatred. We will use the full force of the law when that hatred manifests as violence. And we will ban those coming into the UK who seek to stir it up, as we have done already. Because this country belongs to all of us. And I will not tolerate anyone who seeks to stand in the way of that.
Whoa, 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 whoa. That was a highly produced, carefully scripted political address by a sitting prime minister directed not at foreign enemies, not at the man on the street chanting about beheading Jews, but at his own citizens who want to march peacefully in their own capital city. Convicted thugs and racists will use the full force of the law to combat hate. This is the language of a government that has decided that dissent itself is the threat. And notice what he didn't mention once in that entire address. The man on the street calling for the beheading of Jews, meaning there's no mention of any problem. Look, it's not just in that address. There is a complete blindness, a willful, intentional blindness to any problems coming out of the Muslim community. You heard those rape statistics that Tommy quoted? They've gone from 8,000 to 88,000 rapes. It's just terrifying. It tells you everything. When a government produces a polished threat video the night before a rally, that means they're hoping for provocation. They want it to get violent. They want it to be stirred up. That way they can have a narrative to confirm that these are all violent racist thugs. They need the optics of violence to justify the apparatus that they've built. And on Saturday, they didn't get it. Again, this interview was recorded before the event. It was a beautiful event. You should watch clips of it. Glenn Beck gave a great speech at it. Anyway, let's take a look at the final clip. And this is from the end of this interview. I just pulled out a few excerpts. Here we go.
We're celebrating tomorrow. We're going to have a beautiful day, an absolutely beautiful, historic British Pride Day.
You showed me where I was. You showed me where I was speaking tomorrow, and it's right after a tribute to Charlie Kirk.
It's right after Charlie. Yeah. It's a beautiful tribute. It's a beautiful tribute. I believe. I've reached out to Charlie Kirk's team. I believe there should be an International Charlie Kirk Day every year, coordinated across every capital city in the world to remember that man. But to remember free speech. He was the emblem of free speech. And the song that's being sung, which we've flown an American in to sing it, Keir Starmer didn't get to stop him. It's called Died a Martyr, not a name. Charlie Kirk is a martyr.
He is.
And what would Charlie Kirk have said in the face of Keir Starmer's speech? What would his message have been?
Continue to stand up, show up, and preach love.
So in the message of Charlie Kirk, we will continue to show up. We'll be there tomorrow and we'll preach love. We have got the most beautiful songs being sung by a gospel band from London. We've got lots of music, lots of performances, and lots of beautiful speeches. You know, there's so much, there's no Christian. We've flown in a Christian pastor. He's arrived, so we can't stop him. We've flown him in from Nigeria to talk to the public about the Nigerian Christian genocide that's happening, things that they don't want to cover. But at the same time, each one of these events, I think what scares the government is if we wanted the crowd to turn, we could easily get the crowd to turn.
Oh, yeah.
We don't want the crowd to turn. And that's what scares them. It scares them that we can discipline ourselves. We're in our first meetings with the police. I said to the police, stay away. Yeah? Stay away from us. We'll police ourselves. If people step out of line, we'll put them in line. And that's our messaging to our supporters, to the tough men of England. And what the problem they've got is there is a revival happening in Britain. Men are meeting in parks. You'll see the video tomorrow. Across the UK, men are meeting in parks. They're getting fit, they're getting healthy, they're training, and they're praying. Yeah? In parks across the nation, not in the churches. Something's happening in Britain. Something huge is shifting. And we're going to show that tomorrow.
Thank you for thinking.
Something huge is shifting, a revival, people getting together, training, getting in shape, praying in parks. And that move of bringing in a Nigerian pastor to the rally in London, this anti-Sharia, anti-jihad rally in London, bringing in a Nigerian pastor to talk about the genocide of Christians by Muslims in Nigeria. Great move. It's an important move. It signals what this is all about and why I talk about all these things all the time. This is the global battle. What Israel fighting Hamas and Hezbollah in Iran, the genocide of Christians by Muslims in Nigeria, what's happening in Europe, it's all one story. Look, I think this is actually the most important moment in the entire conversation, what I just played for you here. Tommy Robinson just described this religious revival. Again, men gathering in parks across Britain, praying, training, getting healthy, a gospel band, a Nigerian pastor. These are things that the media doesn't want to cover. And I believe him when he says something is shifting. And here's why it matters from where I stand. Every great national restoration in history has been preceded by a spiritual awakening. A moment when people stop outsourcing their identity to institutions that have betrayed them, and they start recovering it from the source, from tradition, from faith, from God, from the things that they rediscover what's actually worth defending. The British establishment banned a Polish politician and a Jewish journalist. They jailed a grandfather for a tweet who died in prison. They protected rape gangs for 30 years. They did all of this because they're in a rearguard action against something that they can feel coming but cannot stop, which is a people, a nation remembering their identity. And what happened on Saturday in Parliament Square, the day after this interview? 60,000 people, according to the mainstream media, probably closer to 200,000 people. They chanted about God, about their Christian faith. The government had 4,000 police officers ready for a riot, but there was no riot because Tommy told his people, smile, celebrate, don't give them what they want. These are not extremists. This is the opposite of extremism. This is people who've decided that there's something worth showing up for, worth sacrificing for, worth, yes, peacefully demonstrating for, even when every provocation is designed to make you lose control and you're being demonized by the prime minister and being told by the media that you're a racist. And the people who are most afraid of that are those who've given up on Western civilization. They've given up on their British identity. They've given up on the struggle for what is good about Judeo-Christian Western civilization. They've given up on all of it, and they're facilitating its demise. Anyway, that's my reaction to this. Drop a comment. I want to know what you think, especially those of you watching from outside the UK. And if you want more context on the civilizational struggle playing out in real time in Britain, in Israel, across the West, that's what this channel is all about. So make sure you're subscribed, and I'll see you in the next one.